Okay, friends, we are gonna do an entire video on all the frequently asked questions that I get as an intimate couples photographer, and I'm gonna go through everything and be completely honest and upfront with you because there are a few questions in here that I get asked often, and I wanna just explain it so that you know and you feel comfortable even about asking the question. The first question I get more than anything else is, how do people do this? How do couples get in front of the camera naked? How do couples get in front of the camera in their underwear? We don't like getting our photos taken in general, but we really want to do this because we see the value. But how do we go from not loving our photo taken to being completely naked in front of the camera? It's easy. No, it's not easy. It's very common for people to feel nervous. Every person that's ever worked with me has felt this way in the beginning. They knew they wanted to do it, but they were really nervous. A lot of the nerves dissipate as we work through the process. We talk a lot, we communicate often, and I get to know the two of you and your likes, dislikes, love languages, how you two interact with each other. We also include activities that you're familiar with, so you're associating something you're comfortable with, but doing it outside of your comfort zone. Now, a lot of my couples do consume alcohol and other things, but I also have couples that have done this completely sober. You're totally capable of doing this, and it's okay to be nervous. We also don't just jump right into it the moment you walk in the door. If you're coming to me or I'm coming to you, we spend some time kind of hanging out, having drinks together, having a coffee, chit-chatting, and we slowly transition. So it's not like I show up and I'm like, get naked, people. Number two question I guess all the time, and I am working on developing my portfolio so that this is more obvious. I often get asked if I work with the LGBTQ plus community, and fuck yes, yes I do. I am a very inclusive business. I'm a safe person and an ally for the queer community. And as my business grows, so will my portfolio. I am really actively trying to make sure that all the language on my website is neutral, that any media or marketing materials I put out there are neutral. I'm going to keep working at making sure that my portfolio has all of the beautiful people. Number three, am I photographing your private parts? Am I photographing your full frontal? Are you just looking for crotch photos? Like, these get asked all the time. And I wouldn't say by clients who are inquiring, it's usually people criticizing what I do. And it's usually because they don't understand it. And that's okay. This is what this is for. So no, I only have interest in what you would like photographed. So if your partner really loves your bum, that's what we're going to focus on. If your partner really loves your boobies, that's what we're going to focus on. Your abs, your thumbs, your eyes, whatever it is. We talk about all those things ahead of your session so that we know what we're going to focus on. But generally, when we get to the nude part of your session, we are going to focus on your bodies and your connection and how that all plays into each other. All puns intended. But the main focus is not on just photographing your private areas. It's really about celebrating and movement and just sort of the freedom and the energy that comes with being naked. Question number four, all the time. Can we have sex during our session? And the answer is unclear. It's not yes or no. And I'm going to explain that. Most of the time when people encounter my business, they automatically assume that it's all about sex, and that is my main focus. That being said, everybody's form of intimacy is different. And if physical intimacy is a huge part of your relationship and you want to celebrate that, then yes. But there's going to be some boundaries there. And the number one boundary is we have to talk about this well before your session. So when you inquire if physical intimacy, want that to be a part of your session, we have to talk about that right away. And in depth about it. Sort of what your expectations are, what you're looking for, why you want to include that. That's a huge part of it. Why do you want to be physically intimate during your session? Can you just have sex during your session because it naturally may happen? No. And if that does happen and I can't stop it, then I will just leave for a while and you just let me know when you're done. But I won't photograph it if it's just in the moment. That's not how this works. It's not the intention behind it. Question number five, what do we wear? So we're going from intimate to physical intimacy to what do we wear? Do we go shopping, have lingerie, sweatpants? Like, what do we want to wear? And it really is up to you. My sessions are no rules. And so I really mean no rules. I mean no rules. So you could go out and buy the most beautiful piece of lingerie if you want to. You could both wear boxer shorts. You could do anything. I typically break down our sessions into three categories. One is clothed, as in the clothing you arrive in. And it could be sweatpants, jeans, a dress, whatever. And that is where we kind of begin, just so we can get you comfortable with the environment that you're in, and also so that you get used to being in front of the camera. And then we transition into the next phase, which is typically underwear. Something that gives your partner access to more of your body would be recommended. And we live in this area for quite some time. It is the coolest part. Literally, you have less clothes on. And if you don't know what you want to wear and you have a whole bunch of it in front of you, bring it all with you. And I will walk you through every item of clothing. We'll plan it all out so that you don't have to. That is what I'm here to help you do. You don't have to have anything specifically chosen prior. We walk you through that whole thing. Question number 6, what can we bring and can it include liquor or other things? When we first meet, we're going to talk about any activities you want to do, things you want to include. So make sure you pack for those things, like you want to write letters to each other, you want to play cards, you want to build a fort, you want to make pizzas together. You can do any of those things. And if they include alcohol or other things, then we just have to have that discussion ahead of time. Drinking is one thing. Having a glass of wine, champagne, having a few drinks during your session is totally okay. What I don't recommend is that you get blasted drunk prior to me showing up, or, over partake in other activities prior to me getting there. I really want you to be present during this whole experience, because it's not just about the photographs, it's about the whole thing from start to finish and how you feel and how you connect with your partner. So I recommend that you don't overdo it right before your session. You can overdo it after. That will be my recommendation. Number 7, do we have to be nude? No. If you don't want to be naked, you don't have to be naked. I highly recommend that you be naked, because I feel like it's such a really empowering experience to be completely nude, stripped of all of the protective layering that clothing has. If that doesn't feel like you and it's not in your comfort level, or it's so far outside of your comfort zone that you're like, can't, then don't be. I've done lots of sessions where couples have just stayed in their underwear and have been totally happy with their entire gallery, and that's okay. So no, you don't have to be nude. It's not a requirement to work with me. Question number 8, and this is the first question that I get asked when couples arrive to their session. What happens if I get too excited? My male clients will ask, what happens if I get an erection? What happens? And the answer to that is nothing. Nothing happens, nothing changes. Doesn't bother me, it's just a body part, and this is simply my job. I'm an artist. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. Hopefully it doesn't make you uncomfortable. We can take breaks if you need a moment, but it's totally normal. So find that the opposite can happen for couples who aren't as, excited with each other as they'd hoped their partner would be. And it's usually because it's an experience that is different than something you've ever done before. And there's a person in the room that they don't normally do that around. So either way, it's okay. And it really doesn't bother me, and it's totally normal. You're a human being, and you're excited because you're doing this really cool experience with your partner. So totally normal. Don't be weirded out by it. I'm not. Question 9 and 10 are kind of the same, but we'll start with question 9. Can we photograph in multiple locations? Yes, we can. We can spend 2 hours in one place and 2 hours in another place, and it'd be totally fine and totally okay. We plan this out ahead of time and go through all of the logistics of it, how we're going to get there, if we're going to be drinking, who drives, yada, yada, yada. This is often because we want to start indoors. And question number 10, can we shoot outside? And the answer is also yes. You can photograph outside. Highly recommend finding private property or sticking to an area that isn't well populated, like hiking up into the middle of nowhere where you're not going to come across a ton of public, because technically you shouldn't be nude in public. But if you're somewhere where no one else is around, you're a-okay. Or if you're on private property, also a-okay. Okay, that's it. That's my top 10 questions I get asked all the time as an intimate couples photographer. I hope that helped. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, send me a private message. And if you want to work with me, head over to the website, which is linked below, and shoot over an inquiry. I do a full 30-minute free consultation. So if you have questions and you just want to know the answers, you could totally do that without any pressure at all.